Released in 1993, Demolition Man, directed by Marco Brambilla, stands out as one of the most thought-provoking and satirical sci-fi films of its time. While its primary narrative revolves around the futuristic conflict between John Spartan and Simon Phoenix, the film presents a dystopian society that has curiously become a source of reflection in contemporary culture. Many critics and fans alike argue that Demolition Man prophesied aspects of what we now describe as woke culture, a societal movement focused on political correctness, inclusivity, and the dismantling of oppressive systems. In this visual essay, I'll examine how the film anticipated the cultural shifts that underpin this modern phenomenon, using its portrayal of censorship, social engineering, and moral absolutism. The most striking aspect of Demolition Man is its depiction of the sanitized, hyper-regulated society of 2032, which at first glance appears utopian. Crime has been eradicated, violence is virtually unknown, and people live in a seemingly harmonious, peaceful world. However, this serenity comes at a steep cost. Individual freedoms, free speech, and spontaneity are heavily curtailed. The residents of San Angeles, the setting of this new society, are subject to an extreme form of political correctness, where even uttering profanities results in immediate fines, and where traditional human activities like eating meat or engaging in physical contact are banned. In today's discourse on woke culture, one of the most frequent critiques is its emphasis on language regulation and social conduct. Demolition Man exaggerates this principle, taking it to the extreme by creating a world where language and behaviour are strictly policed. This anticipates current discussions about cancel culture, wherein individuals are often reprimanded or ostracised for speech or actions that fall outside the bounds of what is considered acceptable by progressive standards. The film's extreme censorship of language, down to automated tickets for swearing, embodies the fears of excessive policing in cultural expression, a hallmark of modern debates on free speech in the context of political correctness. Another element that aligns Demolition Man with woke culture is its portrayal of the erasure of conflict, which seems to mirror today's desire to eliminate offensive or harmful discourse in the name of social harmony. In the film, social order is maintained through the suppression of conflict. The leader of the new society, Dr. Raymond Cocteau, has engineered a system in which any form of opposition, dissent, or deviance is seen as a threat to the collective good. Simon Phoenix, the hyper-violent criminal from the past, serves as an embodiment of everything that the new society has tried to eradicate: raw, unfettered individualism, violence, and chaos. This aspect of the film resonates with the criticisms that modern social movements can sometimes be overly zealous in eliminating all forms of disagreement or dissent that do not align with progressive ideals, whether through deplatforming individuals whose views are considered harmful or through cancelling those whose ideas are deemed regressive. There is a concern that dialogue and debate are being replaced by a zero-tolerance attitude toward anything perceived as disruptive to social progress. The film's antagonist, Dr. Cocteau, becomes a symbol of authoritarian progressivism, illustrating the dangers of a world where moral and cultural absolutism reign and where there is no room for debate or dissent. In Demolition Man, the citizens of San Angeles are infantilized, shielded from any form of discomfort, confrontation, or hardship. This speaks to a broader critique of modern society, where there is a growing perception that people are being coddled to avoid emotional distress or discomfort. This is seen in the film's portrayal of citizens who are shocked by Spartan's aggressive mannerisms and unfiltered speech. They have been conditioned to view any deviation from the societal norm as dangerous or uncivilized. This critique parallels arguments made by some opponents of woke culture who claim that modern society has become overly protective, with trigger warnings and safe spaces becoming the norm in educational and professional environments. The fear, as expressed by critics, is that in attempting to shield people from emotional or intellectual discomfort, society is creating a generation that is unprepared for the complexities of real-world challenges. The citizens of San Angeles, who are incapable of dealing with even mild conflict, serve as a mirror to these concerns. At its core, Demolition Man presents a conflict between the rugged individualism of the past, represented by Spartan, and the collectivism of the future, represented by Dr. Cocteau's society. Spartan is a relic of a bygone era, characterized by his hypermasculinity, disregard for rules, and emphasis on personal freedom. His struggles to adapt to the new society underscore the tension between individualism and collectivism, a tension that is also at the heart of the debate surrounding woke culture. In contemporary discussions, one of the recurring critiques of woke culture is that it places too much emphasis on collective identity and group affiliation at the expense of individual rights. Critics argue that, in prioritizing the needs of marginalized groups, woke culture can sometimes neglect the importance of personal autonomy and freedom. Spartan's refusal to conform to the expectations of the new society is a metaphor for the importance of individual expression, even when it clashes with collective ideals. So, in summing up, Demolition Man provides a satirical yet prescient critique of the possible consequences of a hyper-regulated, politically correct society. While the film exaggerates for comedic and dramatic effect, its core concerns, the regulation of language, the suppression of dissent, the infantilization of society, and the tension between collectivism and individualism, are increasingly relevant in today's cultural climate. The film anticipates some of the debates surrounding woke culture, illustrating both the potential benefits of social progress and the dangers of overreach. In doing so, it reminds us that while the pursuit of a more inclusive and harmonious society is noble, it must be balanced with the preservation of individual freedoms and open dialogue.